Hey, what's happening, guys? And thank you for tuning into Rules for Rebels. I was just sitting around cleaning out some emails and stumbled upon an interesting email that Reddit sent out. And it was titled Redfin Survey. 36% of millennial homebuyers took a second job to save for down payment, and 10% sold cryptocurrency. So here's kind of the idea that this article actually kind of spurred in my head. Is I'm often trying to get friends and family members to get started making money online, to start some kind of side hustle, to join the gig economy, to do something outside of their 9 to 5 job. And what's kind of interesting is very, very few people have taken me up on it. And a lot of times I'm even willing to like hold my friends' hands and like, look, here's a skill set that you have. I think it's really valuable. I think you can make a lot of money off of it. I'd be happy to help you set something up. And, I don't think I've had a single person take me up on that offer yet. Just for example, my girlfriend, one of her cousins, extremely talented artist. He makes all these kind of cool pictures of like SpongeBob smoking bongs and stuff. He uses all types of different mediums. He uses water paints and oil paints. He does a lot of like Sharpie markers, which is actually kind of an interesting look. But really, really talented artist. And I was like, look, man, you should start selling some of these things on Etsy. And he's like, yeah, I guess that, maybe. And then another time I was like, you should really start kind of putting these designs into digital format and selling them on like Teespring or Redbubble or Amazon merch. Like, I'd be happy to help you get set up with an account. Doesn't really take me up on it. On the flip side, I met another kid recently, actually kind of a friend of a friend. Went to the beach the other day, and a buddy of mine brought a girlfriend of his and her boyfriend, and wound up talking with the guy, and I actually wound up going over to his house the other day to buy something from him. And I happened to see a bunch of pins laying around, and I was like, oh, these are pretty cool. What's the deal with these? He says to me, oh, I sell them on Etsy. And I guess most people probably aren't interested in that type of stuff, but, I was kind of piqued my interest. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool, man. Like, I sell on Etsy and Amazon and eBay and merch and stuff, too. And I think he saw that, it kind of piqued my interest, so we got to talking, and I was telling him about Amazon merch. He hadn't heard about Amazon merch. He wanted to start selling on Amazon, but wasn't really sure, like, how Amazon Handmade worked. He didn't really understand UPC codes and stuff, so I was like, shit, man, I'd be happy to kind of show you how UPC codes work. But we wind up going into his office, and he's showing me he's got this, like, touchscreen computer with, like, 10 touch points, and he makes all these intricate designs. And kind of his niche, he sells pins, and he sells pins to kind of people who go to, like, music festivals and stuff. So think things like Bonnaroo or Electric Forest, like that type of stuff, like kind of like hippie, stoner type pins. And I happened to look at his Etsy store. He didn't tell me what the Etsy store was. He wasn't trying to hide it, but I didn't come out and ask him. And I looked at his store later, and shit, man, like one particular item of his has 200 positive reviews. Now, these pins, he did tell me he orders them out of China, 75 cents a pin. He sells them for $35. That's almost 100% pure profit. Those margins are insane. And for him to have 200 reviews on one particular listing means I bet you he probably sold about 2,000 of these pins to get the reviews. I mean, just do some simple math. What's 200, what's 200 times 35? Subtract about $35 for, or subtract about $200 for inventory, and the rest is pure profit. I mean, the kid is making a killing off just doing something creative and fun that he enjoys to do. And it kind of got me thinking, like, so many people don't get into side hustles, and really every single one of you, everybody out there has some unique skill, some piece of knowledge, something that they could make money off of, and very few people do it. Yet 36%, over a third of millennials are picking up a part-time job to make some money. So let's think about this. Now, I make about $1,000 a month off Amazon merch. Now, if we assume that a part-time job pays $15 per hour, which I think is on the higher end of part-time jobs, if we assume a part-time job pays $15 an hour, that would take 66 hours to make the same amount of money that I make off Amazon merch. Now, I know everyone's not into Amazon merch, but it's pretty easy to, if you're willing to put in the time and effort and be consistent, it's pretty easy to make $1,000 a month with a side hustle or outside your 9 to 5 job. Now, what would you rather do? I've worked part-time jobs before. I've worked second jobs. I've even had 3 jobs at a time. And I'll tell you what, it's not fun going to a part-time job. The last thing you want to do when you get home from a 9 to 5 job is put on a uniform and go out to some part-time job and, work 5 to 9 or 6 to 10. It's just not fun. On the flip side, me doing Amazon merch, I'm not going to say I don't put in any time or that it's not a lot of hard work. I do put in time. There are times when I work really hard on Amazon merch, and there's times when I kind of get a little bit burnt out, and I might go a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks without doing much at all. You can't do that with a part-time job. You're making a commitment. You have to show up, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 6 to 10. Amazon merch, half the time I'm designing, I'm like sitting on the couch with my girlfriend, smoking a bowl, watching some Grey's Anatomy. I'm not a fan of Grey's Anatomy. I fucking hate the show, but my girlfriend loves it. But I would still rather watch Grey's Anatomy than go to a part-time job. But no, I'm kidding. But most of the time when I'm working on merch, I'm just hanging out on the couch, chilling with my girlfriend, pumping out some designs, after I get home from the office. I would much rather do Amazon merch or really any side hustle than work a second job to save up for my down payment. So, I really wish more people would kind of get in the swing of things and decide to jump into the world of side hustles or the gig economy or something else, because you're probably going to make more money than you are working a part-time job, and it's a lot more flexible. If you feel like working one day and you don't the next, you can do that with a side hustle. You can't really do that with a part-time job. But that's kind of the main focus of this video. I just wanted to talk about how I think a lot more millennials and Gen Zers and really anybody coming up these days really needs to take a serious look at side hustles, making money online, starting a business, because that, not only is it important now, not only is it better than working a second job or a part-time job, but I think moving forward, it's almost going to become a necessity for a lot of people. That's kind of the main focus of this video, but I thought the article was kind of interesting, so I figured we'd touch on this as well. In March, Redfin commissioned a survey of 2,000 U.S. residents who plan to buy or sell a primary residence in the next 12 months. The purpose of the survey was to better understand the objectives, perspectives, and concerns of those about to enter the real estate market. We focus this report on the more than 500 respondents between the ages of 24 and 38, who I believe are all millennials, who said they planned on buying their first home in the coming year. The top concern among these first-time millennial home buyers was having enough money for a down payment, with 50% citing that in their response, followed by affording a home in their preferred location, 45%, and rising home prices, 41%. So people are wanting to buy homes in a location that they want, and I think a lot of people are feeling like it's really a seller's market now. It's a strong housing market. I think a lot of people are feeling like I better get in now before I'm priced out of some areas, and that's actually something I'm looking at. I'm looking at buying a home down in the Charleston, South Carolina area. Their real estate is booming. My parents moved down there like 6 or 7 years ago. They've since moved back. I wouldn't be surprised if they wind up heading back down there. But shit, like James Island, I think the real estate market is up like 22% on the year. I'd like to buy a place down there before I'm like priced out of the area. So I think a lot of people are experiencing that. Top concerns among home buyers, having enough money, being able to afford a home. Aside from the 69% who save directly from paychecks, millennials use several tactics and sources to accumulate money needed for a down payment for their first home. 36% used earnings from a second job, and 13% pulled money out of retirement homes. Really stupid thing to do. And 10% sold cryptocurrency. I was surprised that was that high. I actually bought my house, I think it was like 2 Decembers ago, but had I been in the market for a home or even thinking about buying a home back during, say, December of 2017 when crypto was at all-time highs, I probably would have pulled out some money to do that. I'm actually kind of kicking myself for not pulling out more money back then. And quite honestly, I mean, if Bitcoin rebounds to like 10 grand, 12 grand, if Ethereum makes a comeback to the $700 or $800 range, I think I'm probably going to dump the vast amount of my crypto. Don't get me wrong, I still want to keep a little bit of crypto. I haven't completely given up on it, but I don't think we're ever going to see the hype that we saw last November, December. And like I said, if I could pull some of my crypto money out and buy a home down in Charleston, I bet you my money in the real estate market down there would appreciate about probably just as much, if not more, than crypto is going in the near future. Although, again, anything could happen. Let's see, aside from 69 per hour, I think we talked about that. When broken down by household income levels, there were some notable differences in how millennials achieved a down payment. Millennials in households earning more than $100,000 were less likely than those earning less to have saved directly from paychecks, with 60% of high earners having done so, compared with 75% of those who earned less than $100,000. Millennial households earning more than $100,000 were more than 3 times as likely than their less well-off peers to have sold cryptocurrency investments, and twice as likely to have sold stock investments. They were also more likely to have received an inheritance or a cash gift from family, or to have dipped into their retirement funds. Totally off topic, but one reason why you don't want to take money out of retirement accounts, I think there is some type of first-time home buyer loan that you can take out, but really, if you're pulling money out of retirement accounts early, you're going to get hit with a 10% penalty plus whatever your tax rate is. If you fall in, say, the 18% tax rate, you're looking at 28% to take your money out just to buy a house. Not really a smart thing to do. For millennials who have launched their careers while working to pay off student loans in the last decade, having enough set aside toward a down payment would have been a significant accomplishment, said Shesher. These reveal some of the inequalities that have been exacerbated in the recent years following the recession, with well-off having more flexibility and thereby ability to become homeowners and build wealth through advantages like financial support from family and the opportunity to invest in the stock market. To afford a mortgage, 65% of millennials who intend to buy their first home this year plan to take some action aside from just paying from their regular paychecks. 32% plan to pursue additional employment. 19% intend to rent out a room to someone they know. 15% say they will drive for a ride-sharing service. Really found to be not very profitable, guys. Essentially, when you're doing something like Uber or Lyft, you're essentially taking out a cash advance on your car. Best case scenario, you're probably making minimum wage. I actually have a video I've been meaning to make kind of breaking down, like, is the ride economy really profitable? If any of you guys are Uber drivers or anything like that, feel free to drop a comment, but you better know your numbers, because more often than not, I find a lot of people don't know their numbers. They see themselves getting this money from Uber, but they don't realize that they're essentially sucking that value out of car maintenance and the lifetime value of their car. 14% plan to split ownership of the home with friends or roommates. That's actually something that I did when I bought my first house. Bought a duplex, moved 2 buddies in with me. They paid the entire mortgage. I covered the internet, cable, and utilities, but basically I was able to put a lot more money towards the house, as well as save money and not really be strapped and things like that. Again, there were some surprises in the responses when broken down by income. Lower income millennials were more than likely than those earning more than $100,000 per year to say they plan to pursue additional employment to cover their mortgage. Those with higher incomes were more than 3 times as likely to get a roommate. They don't know. High earners were also more likely to say they will split ownerships with friends or drive for a ride-sharing service. I'm surprised high earners want to drive for Uber. But then here's kind of the breakdown of those individuals. One thing you'll notice, I'm sure they didn't ask about side hustles, but there's nobody here planning on taking a side hustle. People are going to go get a night job at Crate and Barrel stocking shelves, but I don't see anybody doing Amazon merch or opening a Shopify store or selling things on, selling services on Fiverr. The gig economy, freelancing, starting a business, guys, it's good stuff. Those of you guys who are younger and maybe want to buy a home in the next couple of years, not a bad thing to do if you want to start preparing. May help you from not having to go get that part-time job at Arby's or IKEA. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but like I said, I would much rather be, sitting at home in my boxers, watching even Grey's Anatomy and smoking a bowl while, making an extra $1,000 a month, than coming home from my job, throwing on a uniform, and having to go into a job I'm obligated to go to. So just some food for thought. Let me know what you guys think about this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button below, and I will catch you guys in the next video.